It's a snow day today, so I had asked for suggestions for videos so that I can fill some of my time while I'm here alone, stuck because of the snow. And there were some really good suggestions, and I want to cover all of them eventually at some point, even if it's just a short to, cover a couple of the short ones. But since this is a snow day, this will be like a Marvel movie one where you can stick around and see some snow day footage at the end, or you can just fast forward to the end and watch it. But the topic that it kind of hit me as a really important one to talk about is boundaries. Boundaries are so important, especially as an autistic person, where if somebody crosses your boundaries, if you are put in situations that are not good for you, then it can lead to major nervous system dysregulation, meltdown, shutdown, sensory overload, but all of the above. It can happen. It can have devastating consequences if you have boundaries being crossed. And so setting boundaries, identifying boundaries, and enforcing boundaries, that is extremely important. And I've struggled with identifying boundaries. Once I identify them, I think that I do an okay job of setting them and enforcing them, but identifying boundaries has been a struggle for me because I have trouble processing emotions. Like it's on a delay, and I have trouble recognizing and identifying them because I've been diagnosed with alexithymia, and so part of that is struggling to identify emotions. And I also sometimes get emotions and physical sensations mixed up. So I could be in a situation that I'm aware is making me uncomfortable, but I'm not sure what about the situation is making me uncomfortable. It could be, it could be something as simple as a lighting issue or an electrical buzzing or a scratchy tag or something like that. But it could also be a situation that is making me mentally and emotionally uncomfortable. Or it could be a combination. I've started trying to notice things like when I start feeling a little agitation. That's like almost always the telltale sign. I'll start feeling just a little agitated, and I won't know what it is. So if it's possible, I'll just try to find an environment where I'm comfortable, like remove myself from that environment, like go from like bright room to dark, quiet room or something, and see if that helps. And if I'm in the middle of a discussion with somebody or whatever, making environmental adjustments to see if that helps alleviate some of the agitation. But just trying to figure out the source of the agitation, and if there's something going on with someone and I can just say, let me take a little bit of, I'm going to need a little bit of time, let me take a little time out or time off, whatever, and get back to you or whatever. And sometimes if somebody's like, no, I need an answer now, and that kind of thing, I try to remember that is a high pressure sales tactic. And if it's a time sensitive thing, yes, I get it. But if it's like, I need to know now what you think about this situation that might happen 6 months in the future or whatever, they can wait. But I just have to sometimes think about my boundaries and what they are and what's making me uncomfortable about different situations. Boundaries that I've had to set regularly, and even before I was diagnosed, they always involve personal space and privacy, and communication. So those things really are the most important. And those boundaries are boundaries that I've set and enforced throughout the years with family, friends, partners, and my place of employment. So one of the things is like visitation. My home is my safe space, and I need lots of time alone, lots of time to myself, and I need my environment to be, a certain way. I need very dim lighting. I need it to be quiet because I can't wear headphones all the time. I have these Bose noise canceling headphones. And I used to, I still have them. They're always somewhere close by. These Bose Sport earbuds too. But I get occipital neuralgia. And so it'll start causing me to have a terrible, terrible pain in my head. And so I can't really, that over the ear headphones do it, and I didn't know that until this year. But so I need to be able to have a quiet house where I don't have to wear the headphones or the earbuds all the time, because when I'm out in the world, I have to have them on all the time, pretty much all the time. So I just have to set boundaries as far as having people in my space. And that has been something that I set that precedent a long time ago with my family. Nobody comes to visit and stays with me. They have to get a hotel. And also friends. I've let one or two friends that visited stay with me, but that was before my diagnosis, and I was, not really comfortable. So that's just something that in the future I'm, not open to in the future. And but I have a good reason. But one reason for me not having people in my space is because I have made accommodations for myself over the years. Before I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know they were accommodations exactly, or why I was doing certain things, but they might look really unusual to people. And sometimes people will come in and start pointing out things that they think I'm doing, quote unquote, wrong, or, just like, for example, I have a log splitter in my, what is supposed to be my living room, and I have a circulation issue, so splitting logs outside in the freezing cold, like this morning it was -2, that just is not really something that's doable for me. So I have a log splitter, electric one. It has no fumes, sitting right by my wood stove, and it's really convenient. It makes more sense to me than a cabinet full of dishes nobody can use. But to some people, it's just scandalous, clutching your pearls and everything at the thought of a log splitter in the living room. But it makes sense to me. And it's an accommodation that I have put in place for my, not sensory, circulatory issues. And this room that I'm in right now is supposed to be the master bedroom, but it's the biggest room in the house. It makes no sense to me to have the biggest room in the house and with the French doors and a nice walk out onto the deck, beautiful view of the lake and everything. It makes no sense to me to have that as a master bedroom where I'm only going to spend time in there when I'm asleep. So I decided to make it my living room. And I was told that if I wanted to sell my house ever, then I would have to have it set up as the master bedroom. And I said, well, in the event that I ever decide to put my house up for sale, I will stage it. Until then, this is my living room. Get out of my face. So, things like that. Like people coming in and telling me I'm doing things wrong. It's like, ugh, fine, you're not allowed to stay. But, it's not just that. Like I need to be in my own space alone a lot of the time. And, I can't be available for people 24/7. So having my notifications silenced on my phone on silent, no vibration, nothing, all the time. That's another accommodation boundary that I've set. Now, I didn't go announce to everyone, hey, just so you know, I've silenced the notifications on my phone, so I'll never know if you call me until I physically pick it up and look at it. I didn't tell anybody because I don't have to tell anybody because it's nobody's business. So, that can be a boundary that you set. You don't have to announce every boundary unless it's like, if someone is repeatedly crossing your boundary, then that's a different type of, situation. But me silencing my phone is me setting a boundary because I need to have peace and quiet, and it startles the ever-living crap out of me when I get notifications. It's a big jump scare thing for me. I don't know why. It startles me. I can be in the middle of painting and I'm like in the zone and I'm just sitting there painting, not any kind of thought outside of what I'm doing. And that notification goes off and will scare the crap out of me. And, if I look at that notification and all it is like a hee from something I sent hours earlier, I'm going to be pissed. So to avoid that emotional roller coaster of stuff, I just silence the notifications. And it's something I just did in like the past year. I also set my sleep mode on my phone to turn on so that, there's nothing happening at night. And for most people, I have the notifications individually silenced so that I don't get the banner notification, because the light, if I'm asleep, I'm really light sensitive. So the light from the phone might wake me up if for some reason I forgot to put it face down. And so I keep the sleep mode on also to prevent that from happening. And it just wakes me up in the morning with the happy little bird sound too. So it's so much better than waking up to the abrupt alarm sound or being awakened in the at 1 a.m. with some dude texting you, "What you doing?" Sleeping, which is what you should be doing. That kind of thing. But it's a little accommodation / boundary that I've set. And also, like work boundaries, I've had to, kind of had to set that precedent also, that I'm not available after office hours. And so some people will have like an Outlook app or something on their phone so they can check their work email, or they'll forward their office phone calls to their personal phone after hours. I don't do any of that. Once I'm clocked in, that is the time that I am supposed to work, and that is the only time in which I do work things during the time for which I am paid. And I think that's how it should be. I don't think organizations should expect people to do things outside of their paid work hours. You know, if they were like, hey, can you clock in and do this and get paid overtime? Sure, that's a different thing. But I'm talking about like non-paid work stuff. That is not acceptable to me. So I don't check emails or do work phone calls outside of business hours. And, you know, I have a brother that worked for a company that took advantage of him pretty bad. He was, you know, on call a lot. And so it was like he was on call 365 days a year, 24/7, it seemed like. And it was, so he had no freedom to do anything in his life. And so I saw the way that that company took advantage of him. And I just, like when I was, you know, still in college, and I just vowed that I would never allow that to happen. You know, if I was working for a company that did that, then that would be a clue to find another job if possible. And my boss is pretty good about not trying to contact me outside of work hours or anything, unless it's something that's an actual, you know, time-sensitive emergency. So the organization that I work for is also, you know, advertises that they're all about that work-life balance. So that helps. And I've had to set boundaries with friends before about, I have a friend that wants to know all the personal information, like the most personal information, like regarding relationships and stuff like that. And, you know, if it's just my personal information that she wants, that's one thing. But, you know, asking really personal questions that, you know, involve my partner and his privacy, and that is, I draw a line there, because I feel like, or I think that is a violation of the trust. So I just had to, you know, set that boundary and, you know, express that those were, you know, things that I'm not comfortable telling her, because it is, you know, kind of a violation of his privacy and stuff. So I just have to, you know, kind of censor myself a little, and tell her that those questions are, you know, that's none of her business. And I'm not very tactful. When I try to be tactful, it seems like I don't get taken seriously. And so I end up trying to be tactful and getting frustrated because they're either ignoring it or not picking up on it. And so then I'm just like extremely direct, and then it's like, oh, well, you're just being mean or rude or whatever. That's not the intent, but that's sometimes how it's perceived, which, you know, I've had to set boundaries in my private life as well. This is a funny one. I don't understand why anyone just decides that they need to walk into a bathroom with a closed door. Like, I'm not talking public restrooms here. Anything to do with that. I'm talking about, like, I'm in someone's home and I have to use their restroom. And I go in there and I close the door. And I wasn't, you know, raised to open closed bathroom doors. So I assume that I don't have to lock it. And I'm in this bathroom and someone just decides to walk in and start talking to me. What the heck is up with that? So, and that's, you would think, oh, that just probably happened once. No, I wish it had only happened once. But people, everyone, don't walk into a restroom when someone has shut the door. That means they want you on the other side of it. Like, this one friend that I have was staying with me in my own freaking house, and I knew that when I went to this person's house and stayed with them, that one time they just walk into the bathroom when I'm in there and just start brushing their teeth. And I'm like, you have 3 bathrooms in this house. Why'd you pick this one? And no, the toothbrush didn't originate in there. They brought it into there from another location. And so I was just like, okay, this person's coming to stay with me at my house. I know that that means I have to lock my own bathroom door, which is stupid. Parents, teach your children that closed bathroom doors mean that they're to stay on the other side of that door unless somebody is screaming for help. Yeah, so I've been there with the door locked, and I hear the sound of a body hitting a bathroom door. And I was like, yes, I'm getting ready to take my shower. And so I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh, I was just checking to see if you were in there. I didn't know. You didn't know? You didn't know what a closed bathroom door meant? Okay, genius. That's annoying. And so, yeah, closed, locked bathroom doors, that's one boundary that I've had to set. And luckily, my partner that I'm with now, he totally gets that a closed bathroom door means don't come in. So it's not like locking it isn't a necessity or anything. And I told him about it, and he's like, people do that? I was like, yeah. And one person didn't even have a door on their bathroom. And I was like, you don't have a door? Yeah, but you can use it anyway. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, there's no door. I'll go to your wood shop. Okay. What the heck? It's like, oh, yeah, that's just strange to me. But, and then of course it's like, oh, but the great outdoors, that's fine. Yeah, sometimes I don't know. It's just whatever. It's my prerogative. Now I'm gonna have that song in my head. Yeah, and music. I've had somebody mention music as a video idea, and I thought, well, that's a boundary. I've had to set musical boundaries too, because I really hate Steely Dan, and so some people have decided to play Steely Dan in front of me because they thought it was funny, and I'm like, you don't understand. That like freaking infuriates me. And while you think that it's cute that I'm infuriated, I am really suffering, and that is a boundary, and you've crossed it, and now we're both going to suffer for it. I've just turned the radio off. That's my thing. But yeah, so boundaries. I mostly just I'm direct about it. And, if somebody gets their feelings hurt because I've enforced a boundary, that's getting their feelings hurt is one thing. But if I've, set a boundary, told them what the boundary is, and then they repeatedly try to just bulldoze past my boundary, then that's the kind of person I don't really need to be around. And, especially if I'm like, I'm setting this boundary. This is my boundary. I'm setting it. I'm being clear about it. And then they're like, oh, I know you set that boundary, but no, you just need to get lost. You need to kick rocks if you are just gonna, bombard me with whatever it is you're about to bombard me with. Even though I set a boundary, get lost. Because if they'll, even if it's something small, some sort of confrontation may be in order. You might have to say, hey, I set that boundary and you just ignored it, and you don't have any right doing that to me. And if they, keep on doing it, then that's not the kind of person you need in your life. Boundaries are there to keep us safe and to help us stay regulated. And we're not there to cater to other people's comfort, to make ourselves small, or to bend over backwards for people. And because they're a little uncomfortable, because we set a boundary, that's their problem. And if they start doing any kind of convo carousel type stuff, like, well, your boundary is crossing my boundary, you might just want to step away from that while you still can. Get out. Just get on down the road. Don't engage. So that's my thoughts on boundaries. And I guess I'll just tack on that little snow video here on the end. So I fed the birds, and I've got lots of cool birdies out here. Little finch, that little reddish colored fella right there. He moved as soon as I tried to zoom in. You got titmouses, whatever. I can't remember what these other little things are called. I just looked them up the other day and now I've forgotten. Cardinal entering the scene. There's a little woodpecker on the tree over there. Oh my gosh, it is so bright out here. So bright. Oh man, and I need to put on this other glove, so hang on just one second. Okay, so I'm on a sled for the first time since, I don't know, 1986. Let's see how it goes. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. It's like, I'm just gonna keep scooting down this hill. But it's not actually gonna sled. Okay. Well, I made it this far. There's my house. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh. Okay, I didn't end up in the woods.